Talking about those big blokes in the middle of the field, Coop, in my life in rugby league, I've seen some great battles through the midfield. The Chief and Spud,
Yep.
Lazo and Blocker, Les Davidson. This Sunday could be, I think, probably the greatest I've seen. James Fisher-Harris, Moses Leota against Carrigan, Haas and Flegler.
Yeah.
What a battle through the middle.
It's normally when you talk about front rowers, it's maybe 1 versus 1, Origin player versus another Origin. But there's 3 genuine starting middles that are superstars of the competition.
Yep.
While middle forwards don't hit the scoreboard and we probably don't notice them in terms of, scoring tries or whatever. But they do little things. Keep your eye out on what these 3 guys or 6 guys do in the first exchanges, because as a halfback, you'll know this. If I'm Nathan or Adam Reynolds, I'm firing up my front rows and I'm saying, I'm going to let you dominate this game for the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Show me what you got.
Right on hands and heels.
Yep, I'm just going to kick the ball here into bad spots for them.
Yep.
But you make sure you win that battle.
Interesting last week, Coops, and we commentated on the game, and when you saw the wide shot, like Penrith obviously went in with a plan. We're going to steamroll Melbourne right through the middle. And watching on the wide shots, it amazed me, coming out of trouble when Penrith are coming out of yardage, the Melbourne Storm were compressing to half the field. And in my mind, I'm going, oh, for f***'s sake, Nathan, push the ball to the edge. There's 20 metres. They're going to give it to you. But they just kept straight through the middle, playing north-south, and just wore them down.
Yeah, it's sometimes, when you tighten up defence, particularly in yardage, you want to give the impression that you should shift, but you're actually playing into their hands. This is where someone like Isaiah Yeo is crucial. Because he stands up and he might have Nathan out the back like there's a shift, little shimmy and a shake, and next minute he's running the ball into defenders who are thinking they're shifted and gets a quick play of the ball. Then it's Fisher-Harris, then it's Leota, and we're off.
And, and Fisher-Harris and Leota, watching them this year, they've become very, very good at running off Yeo and Cleary, running angle plays. They're a hard side to beat up, Penrith, because of Yeo operating through that middle. His pass threat means that it's very hard to close in on him, and that's why he's always poking his nose through. It's a real luxury for Nathan, Coops, because you get there and you say, right, let's work to the far post. Nathan doesn't have to lead them there. Isaiah will lead them across there.
The interesting part for me, and this is, so as we talk about sort of train spotting stuff, right? For Nathan and Penrith to shut them down, because they're good at playing on the outside, but then if there's nothing on, they turn it back inside to one of their back rows to come through. It's almost as a defensive line. If you stand still, he's going to skip defenders and carve you up. It's almost like you need to compress from the inside and the outside at the same time. So put pressure on Nathan from outside in, and then when he dishes off to that back rower, a wave comes back through.
Constantino effect, Bush.
Yeah, and wax him. And wax the back row who comes off. So it's... it's interesting. These are all the things we pick up.
And that first try, it was a nice set in that first try, because we're in commentary going, OK, here come the inside balls. Boom, inside ball. Other side, inside ball. About his third carry, done with the inside ball, short around the back, and they score. And
that's the problem, right? We're saying, just jam the middle and squeeze from the outside. But you've got to jam the middle and squeeze every tackle. You've got to go up and back. And that's why the machine of Penrith gets you late in the game.
Coops, let's talk about the 2 halves there. Firstly on Nathan, right? And Nathan's a really modest, naturally modest person. You can see that. He's outstanding bloke. But he hasn't got that overt swagger that Reece Walsh has got. But I've been watching him in the back half of the year. It's in here.
Yep, absolutely.
He can see now the way he holds himself in press conference, the way he actually knows what a great player he is.
Yep, and he knows he's the best.
Yep.
And we've said this, when you actually do things as a half and get to the age where you understand why it happened, you can carry that inner swagger and know you are the best.
Thanks.
You got it. The thing about this matchup is, Nathan's at the peak of his powers, but the other bloke is too.
Yeah.
I really feel like Adam Reynolds is there's a lot of talk about Reece, but this guy's playing his career best footy at 33 years of age. He went within a whisker when he's comp with South Sydney against Penrith. He wants payback. You don't think that's on his mind?
Yeah.
And I feel like if the Broncos win, he's the best player on the field because he's ready. I think the other players in that team, they might be ready, but they're inexperienced, not ready type thing. But he is. He's the one that has been through all that same level, and he sits eye to eye with Nathan and believes he can be the best player too.
What a legacy it would be for Adam Reynolds. What a legacy that he will leave at two great clubs.
Yep.
South Sydney, and to do it, and if they can win this game or grab a premiership before he retires, what a legacy.
Question without notice. He wins this. Is his legacy at Broncos greater than it is at South?
Yes,
I think so too.
I think so. It says a lot, but at South Sydney, you know, when they win the comp, you know, is it GIs? Is it Sammy Burgess's? You know, is it? Whereas
this one's his.
He's gone to a club that were wooden spooners and struggling. And you saw, you know, they've got the great pack and everything, but we always said 2 years ago they were like a V8 engine with no steering wheel. He's just gone there and he's transformed.
Yeah, and Kevy Wallace said basically that after the prelim, he said he was the first big fish we got and everyone else came off the back of that. So I agree with you. Absolutely.
And how good, like, has Kevy been? Like, you know, like that stuff at the start of the year, like, you know, with selling Cobbo, is like, that's a wrap for Kevy. The fact that he's pushed Renault forward and just given him the power, you know, and I mean, you know, Renault is a co-coach. You know, older, experienced players, you know, that's how they'll operate. I mean, it would have been the same with Andrew Webster and Sean Johnson. You know, it's not a coach-play relationship, it's coach-coach.
Yeah, and like even Tyson Gamble did his thing with Kevy when he left or whatever. And Kevy, like I was coached by Kevy as assistant at Melbourne and had him at Origin. And Kevy as an assistant coach was the larrikin. He was the guy that was make the mood light because Craig's there. And he had a very good ability to do that. He's always the life of the party. And then in Origin, I knew what Queensland jersey meant to Kevy because in his first game, he got up in front of, before we get on the bus, about to go, he teared up in his eyes. He told a story about him and his brothers cutting the fence at the Old Lang Park to get through and watch the great Origin players. And in that moment, you sensed what it was meant for him. And I feel like the old Kevolution with the Broncos, he's made these young blokes realise what it is to be a Bronco, what the pioneers of the early days have done. And yes, play with your swagger and do it, but this is what it means to so many other people. It means a lot to me. Go out and do it in your own way.